Hi guys, I'm MightyBalls and today's video is regarding the Chieftain T95, the British medium tank. As most of you will know who watch my videos, I'm going to put this into three sections. The first part we're going to head off to tanks.gg and look at the statistics and look at the armour. The second part is going to be regarding the replays and show you how to play it. And the third part is going to be about the conclusion of the tank. And if you don't own this tank, because this is a clan war tank after all, I'll show you how to take this out on the battlefield. So we're on tanks.gg and we're looking at the Chieftain T95 as said before. Now first thing, I will tell you my loadout. I've got all the top consumables because it's a premium tank. I'm only going to do AP. I'm not going to go through heat because at the end of the day I want to show you how this performs on an average level, not spamming gold all the time. My personal opinion, V-stabs, vents and gun rammer. I have a small med kit, a small repairs kit, and then I have some tea and pudding. I have a 3-skill crew, so I've got brother in arms, smooth ride, snapshot, situation awareness, safe stow. I have got other things like 6th sense, but they don't show on this website. So with that loadout, I have 2192.08 damage per minute, which is unlike most British tanks. Most British tanks are absolutely crazy when it comes to damage per minute. This has an alpha of only 240, which is a little bit underwhelming also. It has decent penetration at 202 and it has a reload time of 6 seconds 0.57, which gives it a rate of fire of 9.13. Its aim time is rather good at 1.93 and its dispersion is 0.32, which means it's not derpy but it's not pinpoint. Its dispersion on the move is 0.14, 0.14, 0.10, which to be fair is quite mediocre. Now its horsepower to ton is only 14.96 power to weight ratio. Now that is quite underwhelming. It's quite a slow tank in the fact that it takes ages to get to 42, and then when it does get to 42, well, that's it basically. Its ground resistance is pretty decent at 0.7 and 0.88, but as soon as you start hitting soft terrain it's a little bit sluggish at 1.58. Its hull armour and turret armour are pretty decent at 85, 50, 25 for the hull, 25, 4, 88 and 50 for the turret. Its view range on this tank with the loadout I have is 424.95 and its radio is 852.86. Now for the view range to be better you can take out the vents and replace it with the optics, but I personally am going to get up close and personal, try and use the ridge lines, trying to get a hull down in this tank to try and get the best out of this tank. This tank isn't a sniper, even though it's got a 0.32 dispersion, it's not pinpoint and you will see this tank derp out sometimes. So lastly about this tank, I'm going to tell you about the gun depression and gun elevation. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty decent. Most British tanks do, and it really does make this tank stand out when you're on ridge lines. Now the elevation is 20 degrees, which is quite nice. It can be worse, but it can be better. 20 degrees is a nice sweet spot though, so if tanks are up on a ridge you can still shoot them. Let's go off to the visual module. So if you're lucky enough to see one of these head on and not hull down, I advise 100% to either go for the lower plate, which is only around 100 to 110 millimeters thick, or this beautiful cupola at the top, which is only around 50 millimeters thick. You're not going to penetrate the turret, don't bother. Most things you see this won't be able to penetrate it, and the top plate is auto ricochet. If you see one of these on the side, it's so easy to pen. Hit the hull or the turret or even the cupola, you're going to pen every single time. If you see one of these from the back, load HE, aim for the hull. If you can't see the hull, don't load HE and aim for the turret or the cupola. So that's it about the statistics of this tank. Let's go over to the replays. So I'm on Windstorm. I don't really like this map. This map is one of the worst. It's basically go left, go right, go centre, and you all meet up at one area, which I'm not 100% into, and to be fair, I don't like corridor maps. But anyway, enough of that. I'm top tier. I'm going to go off to around J6 area, purely because I want to be quite aggressive. I'm top tier at the end of the day, and not one of those tanks I fear. Not because of their skill level, but purely because I can penetrate every single one of those tanks without using any gold ammunition whatsoever. So this tank, let me tell you a bit about this tank. As you can see, the mobility's okay, it's nothing great, it's around 40 kilometers an hour on a straight. It's quite underwhelming going uphill. It goes, even though it's okay, it still only goes about 20, and you find yourself, you know, tapping your fingers a bit while you're going uphill. But the armour on this is pretty decent, especially if you can hide the lower plate, hide the cupola somehow, which is kind of a miracle if you do. This tank can bounce quite a lot. I'm a little bit passive here purely because I know that if I go to that position there is no turning back, and I don't want to put myself in an absolute stupid position I can't get out. So I push forward to around J6 as I said before, and hopefully going to start putting some shots into these tanks. I see myself a T94, I put in a quick snapshot and a bounce. He misses luckily, so I push forward using what little DPM I have against him. So I put in a shot for 245 on his well angled upper plate, showing that 202 penetration is still good enough to go through a T34 upper plate. I goad him into trying to take a shot, I turn the tank, he takes a shot, which gives me a chance to take a shot at him. Unfortunately a T29 comes in, fires nothing but APCR from the word go, hits my gun and penetrates and breaks my gun, so I have to use my repair kit. So I've got myself in a little bit of dilemma. I'm still can fight my way out of it. At the end of the day I'm a top tier medium, they're heavies at the end of the day. So I put a shot in against the T34, he snapshots and penetrates me for 433, which leaves me down to only around 40% of my health. So I'm going to teach this T29 a lesson and tell him to back off. I put in a shot in for 246, which makes him retreat a little. Now I'm going to put my focus over to the T34, especially as he's got his turret away from me. I put in one shot, pull back, I go forward, I put in another shot for 242, leaving him on a high roll one shot. So I go forward again, and then suddenly the T34 on my team, sorry, the T29 on my team decided to not let me shoot. So I pull back, put in another shot. Luckily I bounced a shot from the T150 and the T29 takes him out. I aim for the lower plate, unfortunately I bounce, which is like miraculous considering it's a tier 6 heavy. He puts a shot into me and he tracks me. I put a shot into his cupola and penetrate. I go back a little bit, aim for his lower plate and I take him out for 181. Now the T28 prototype is very weak lower plate and very weak side armour, so my aim is to hit the flywheel to try and get him to track, but unfortunately it didn't happen, so my attention is going to go over to the T29, track him and hopefully farm his health. I track him, unfortunately not doing any damage, so I'm just going to pull forward and see if I can track him again whilst doing damage. Unfortunately I don't track him, I do damage, and the T29 pulls back to take shots at one of my teammates. The One decided, I'm not going to let you have any more damage, I'm going to take this myself, and pulls out right in front of me. So I pull forward to go after the T28, and unfortunately the M6 suddenly spotted. I put in a little shot, I pull back, luckily the Oni isn't a bot and he realises what I'm trying to do and moves. I put in another shot, and then the prototype next to me comes in, takes a shot and takes out the M6. Now I'm going to aim at the lower plate here because it's got a really weak lower plate on the T28. I do that and I penetrate. I'm going to aim again for the front wheel and lower plate and I penetrate and take him out. So I've had an okay game, 3,267 damage, 2 kills. I think I've helped my team very efficiently on that side to win that side. My attention is going over to the Panther 88. I aim, I fire and I take him out. That's 3 kills now. So I'm going to go over to the Tiger 1 and then suddenly a Ferdinand spotted. I've got a bit of a dilemma here. Do I be a unicorn and farm that damage, or do I go for a kill, which is going to help my team a lot more? Because let's face it, I've got 4 tanks probably going for the Ferdinand and only me going for the Tiger. I decide, no, I'll go for the Ferdinand just for one shot. But yeah, after all, I am a super unicorn. So I put a shot in, I low roll for 215, and now my attention is back on the Tiger. I take a little snapshot, unfortunately a bounce, and I progress forward. I keep my tank hidden until the last second. I pull in and then I try and goad the person into shooting. he seemed to penetrate me on the well angled lower front, but I finish him off. Now I'm surprised that the Ferdinand's still alive, so I go and I try and take a shot, but unfortunately someone gets him just before I do. So let's go over to the second replay. So I'm on mountain pass, and again I'm top tier. Again I'm going to go quite aggressive, and I'm going to go straight down the heavy route around H1 area, pushing round to around J2 area. Now again, this is another map I'm not particularly keen on. Again, it's a corridor map. You go left, you go right, you go centre, and you all pile up in the same area. Wargaming really do need to find out, you know, how to get maps which aren't necessarily corridory, and you can drive and, you know, flank a little bit easier. But that's a different story. I'm going to show you how to play this tank. I've mentioned about its manoeuvrability. I've mentioned about its armour. You've seen his gun in action. It's not the craziest DPM, but it's got a reliable gun which is going to penetrate a lot of things you meet. If you see tier 10, you're going to have to load gold on quite a lot of things, hence why I've got 24 gold rounds in, even though I don't tend to use them, especially if they're on the same tier or even a tier above me. So straight away I notice that there's only me and an IS going this way. I've got a little bit of faith. I'm just going to see what's going there and what's going to be pushing there. So I'm still going forward. I stop slightly, hesitating, thinking, do I go down here? I'm just going to push forward, hopefully get one shot and turn around, is my thought at this point. So I come to this point, I stop, I aim, I think this isn't worth it. I'll end up getting probably 1,000 damage and dying, so I'm going to go head off. I'm hoping that the IS has got a brain and he does the same. It looks like he has, which is well played to the IS, and we're both heading back. He's got a hard hitting gun. He could probably withstand a little bit more, maybe get 1200 damage off before he dies, but I don't fancy him much if he's going to try and hang around there, which he might do or he might not do. I'm not going to spoil this for you. So my thing is to get this 12T, get him out, but unfortunately this T34 decides to want to stop me to do anything. But no, my focus is on the 12T. If we're going to get flanked that side, I want to make sure we don't get flanked this side, and to only fight it on one battle. I see myself a lovely Hellcat. I take a snapshot, I miss unfortunately, and the T34 behind me takes a shot, tracking and hitting him, and I finish him off. Now Panther 88 is coming. He's got crazy DPM, one of the best DPM in tier 8. Now I'm going to try and hopefully persuade him not to come this way. I put in one shot and penetrate. I still want this 12T. He shoots me, I shoot him, he bounces, I don't. So I'm going to push over. I've seen myself a Firefly, sniping Firefly, which is worse. I put a shot in, he puts a shot in, I hit, he bounces. So the Tiger, T34 and CDC suddenly spotted. I'm going to put in a couple more shots, and then I'm going to have to turn my focus onto those tanks, or else I'm going to have some butt love from them, which personally I don't like. So I put in one more shot, well at least I'm going to hope to, I do, and I track him luckily, which is going to keep him into one position for a bit longer so I can take out these tanks. So I've turned my focus to these tanks. Luckily the IS and the T34, as well as the SU-152 and whatever tank is up there, is also doing some damage. I put a shot into the KV-3 and he starts pulling back. I'm not content in that. I try pushing forward to get one more shot just to make sure that they're not going to push forward. I do, hitting a nice roll for 270, and then another shot goes in, putting another guy down to next to no health. So that tricky situation went from bad to good luckily. I see the Panther 88, I put in one shot, he turns, the Firefly snapshots and penetrates me. How he got me from there I don't know. I put in another shot into the Panther, I get shot again from the Firefly, and unfortunately from the Panther artillery, and so that was my cue to say I'm out of here, I don't fancy getting whacked by the RT again. Luckily we've won this flank. The T34 and the IS on my team have done really well. Shout out to Dodds and Meteor Steel. At the end of the day, without them there's no way we would have won that tricky situation where it was us versus 5 tanks. Now I'm going to head off over there. I'm going to try and take out the T-34-100 if I can. If I can't and he's already taken out before I get there, I'm going to turn my focus onto the Firefly and then flank around to the base. So this tank, it's got good gun depression, good elevation. It's got a very good penetrating gun, fairly accurate. Its gun in total is an okay tank. The only thing it could do better is the DPM. I see myself in FCM. I put him one shot in for 219 and pulls back. I take another shot if I can get him to stay still, and I miss. So as you can see, the only problem with this gun is the fact that it's low alpha, only 240, and you do quite a lot do less than 240, trust me, and it can get quite underwhelming. So I see myself Firefly. Unfortunately that hits the rock to the side of me, even though that was right to the outer end of my scope. I've decided I'll see if I can just get him. If I can't, I'll go down and I'll try and take him out from below. So I can't get him, so I head down and try and take him out from below. So the score is 11-8. We're up on HP by an absolutely huge 4,000 nearly, and this game is just about won. Even though 11-8 sounds quite close, it's really not. Their team is on low health, our team isn't, apart from myself, that is. So I'm gonna go straight. I'll go around the right hand side and the T95 will go around the other side. I see myself the RT which has been aiming at me. I take a shot which is irresistible not to, and I pull back. He starts pulling back and trying to get out, so I'm going to head off to round cap to try and kill him. Now at this point I'm expecting the OI to travel down towards where the Panther 2 is, and I expect no different because I would have probably done that, but to be fair I would have been past that by now because I wouldn't have stopped around that area. I would have gone straight for their cap knowing that we were losing. So our team is 13-8 up. We've won now. It's impossible just about for them to come back unless that OI or GW Panther seems to have the game of their lives, which I doubt they will. So I proxy spot the OI, he pulls back, I pull back. My first thought is to get his ass and let the T25 try and go to shot. He shoots, so I thought enough's enough. I'm going to go in and I'm going to shoot him. I take a shot on his side. Unfortunately, I hit an angled area and I bounce. Now I've got better reload, so I know I'm going to shoot, so I do, and I shoot and take him out. Let's go over to the results, guys. So I'm on the Quickie Babies website, which is replays.quickybaby.com. If any of you guys or girls have got epic replays where you're doing stupid amount of damage or stupid amount of kills, then I'm sure Quickie Baby will have a look, and hopefully in the future you might see your replay on Quickie Baby's YouTube channel. So on the first replay I was on Sandstorm, and straight away you can see I penetrated 8 tanks doing quite a lot of module damage, and I did 2 initial spots on the T29 and the T34 at the beginning of the game. I did 4,046 damage with 400 assistance damage. Even though I was tracking my opponents, my team didn't seem to want to do damage to the team, to the players I was tracking. I got 1,457 base experience with 4 kills, and as mentioned 4,046 damage. I earned 119,385 credits. I do have a personal reserve which is activated, which is 50% credit boost, which doesn't show on Quickie Baby's website. So I had 9,938 repairs. I had resupply of ammunition 8,750, and I had a repair pack which I had to use which cost me 3,000. So in total, including the personal reserve, I earned 157,390 credits. I got 2,185 base experience with premium, and because it was a premium tank I earned 219 experience, also giving me a grand total of 3,498 experience. I fired 25 shots, of which 23 hit and 18 penetrated. So in a game what only lasted 5 minutes and 36 seconds, I think that was quite a lot of damage and showed what this tank could do. Let's go over to the second replay. So on this replay we were on Mountain Pass. I hit 8 tanks, doing a little bit of module damage and only spotting one tank which was near the end of the game, which was the GW Panther. I got 3,142 damage with 476 assistance damage. I got 1,054 base XP killing 2 tanks, and again 3,142 damage. I got 96,274 credits. I did have a personal reserve of 50% credit boost also, which again Quickie Baby's website doesn't show. I spent 11,077 credits on repairing my tank, 6,300 on resupplying ammunition, and again 3,000 for my med pack resupply, giving me a profit of 124,036. I made 1,581 base experience with premium, 158 more experience for being a premium tank, giving me a total of 2,530 experience. So let's have a recap about this tank. Let's start with the gun. The gun has very good gun depression, good gun elevation, decent penetration at 202, decent accuracy. The only thing that lacks this down is the small alpha of 240 every time it hits, but to be honest, it's not too bad and it is workable. Its mobility is pretty decent. It's not amazing. It's a little bit better than average, but you're not going to be zipping around the map like a light tank, so don't expect that. Its camo rating is goddamn awful. You will get spotted even if you're not firing in a bush. It is a big beast of a tank, and it's exactly like most British tanks in the fact that it gets seen even if you were double bushing, it seems sometimes. Its armour is godlike as long as you can protect the hull by putting a hull down and making sure that no one can hit your cupola by going back and forth, left and right whilst you're hull down. Now if you can't get yourself hull down and they're seeing your lower plate, expect to get penned because it's not very thick. It's only 110mm thick. Now if you're going to be static in this tank, expect every tank to hit your cupola. It's only 50mm thick and they're going to penetrate all the time. So my hint on this tank is keep moving, do erratic movements, for instance left, right, up, down really quick while you're in between shots, because at the end of the day you want to make it as hard as possible to hit that huge cupola on top of your tank. Now I know a lot of you haven't got this tank because it was only a Clan War tank and only 6,000 of them were given out, but basically if you're up against one of these, you either aim for the lower plate, aim for the side, HE in the ass if you can preferably, if not aim for the cupola and take this out on the battlefield. So if you like this video guys, please like and subscribe. It'll help this video and also help my channel. So until next time, I'll see you then.